S&P is basically flat. Not much going on. Wrong. Wild price action overnight. Some people care, some people don't. 70 handles off that 10 a.m. low yesterday. Headline driven market. Where have you heard that before? We got so much to cover today. We had an interesting deal in the sports world on Friday. Not much for earnings or ratings. Those analysts, they're taking a long weekend. Tony Pawlak, 8:35 on pre-market prep, folks. Let's get it started.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. This is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
Okay, yeah, it's like I said, folks, 5 and 3, 6 handles up, 60, 40 and a half, 70 handles off that pre-market low. We'll go into the details on that in a few minutes. The buck down 19 cents, 98.28. TLT taking a breather here, down 24 cents, 86.41. Crude flat here at 82.29, even though things are calming down. GLD getting hit down a buck 76, 308.50. SLV in the red, 72 cents at 32.71. Bitcoin futures, they're up about 2,300 bucks at 106,250. Let's bring in Triple D and Brentster. Nothing going on, Dennis. Nothing going on in the market.
It looks quiet out there. It looks quiet. It's the calm before the storm. No, it's the calm after the storm, because all the action was when everybody else was taking the day off. Joel did not take the day off. I did, but Joel has alerted us that the S&P futures yesterday morning were trading down 70 handles. Woo! Yes, that's correct, folks. 70 handles we were down yesterday morning. So now we're up. So we had an 80-point rally off the lows. And we can tell you just quickly, if you were taking the holiday like I was yesterday, there was two major headlines driving the bus. One was rumors coming that, and I don't remember which media source it was reporting. It might have been Wall Street Journal, Brent. But the first rumor is saying that the U.S. was going to strike Iran this weekend. That is why we were selling off. That's why oil was blasting off. That was rumors early yesterday morning. Trump came out in the afternoon and said, fake news. He said, we will make a decision on Iran in the next couple of weeks. So that all of a sudden telling us a war was not imminent. Oil sold off. Futures rallied on that. And then we've just been kind of hanging out for the rest of yesterday. This morning now, we get a headline at 7:45 this morning, senior Iranian official to Reuters. Iran is ready to discuss limitations on its uranium enrichment. So it sounds like Iran wants to talk here again. So now we're right back up and we are rallying here because it sounds like Iran wants to talk. Headline driven market even on the holidays. Wowzers.
Wow. And just throw in a 4-day week, the market being off yesterday, quad witch today. I mean, what more could you ask for here? Should be exciting with the imbalances. Who knows? I mean, the next headline will be, well, Iran doesn't want to come, and then we drop 50 handles.
Oh yeah. We're now the same thing as tariffs, except it's war. And it's war, market goes down. No war, market goes up. Algos are simplistic. That's why we talk about simplistic trading so much on this show and in the STN room. It's also why we talk about headlines, because algos are headline driven. I know you technicians out there will have the reason, because this was all technicals. It was technicals why we dropped 70 handles yesterday, and it's technicals why we rallied all the way back. I tell you, that is nonsense. It is headlines, folks. Headlines drive price. Technicals chart the price. So if you're ignoring headlines right now, you're getting whipsawed.
Before we do more, I just want to, the Brentster here is working from a remote location. He had a 9-hour drive.
Boots on the ground.
And Brent, tell people where you're at. what you're doing.
I am in Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm going to a conference this weekend called the Cosmic Summit. If anybody is out there in Greensboro, give me a shout. I'll come meet up with you. Cosmic Summit is a bunch of alternative history nerds getting together in one room. Randall Carlson, Dr. Robert Schock. These are guys that kind of innovated in alternative history, saying like Egypt, ancient cultures are way older than we think they are. The guys that had that recent stuff coming out of Giza with all the stuff under Giza, they're going to be presenting data live to the public for the first time. So I'm going to be nerding out this weekend, be getting some good info. And it's Dennis, boots on the ground. It is busy in Greensboro, North Carolina at this Sheraton Convention Center. Huge center. It's like as big as a Vegas casino. There's a ton of people here. I'm going to have some fun.
I told Lisa you were going to this, and she goes,
Yeah.
Brent's in this world. Brent is
Yeah.
in this world.
I'm
Okay.
about it. Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. So you continue good work there, remote background there, and holy macro, Dennis. Let's look here. Are we done with the war? Are we done with our war update and the war trade, or do we want to look at some stocks?
No, we're not done with the war trade, so we can talk, and I think we should cover some of the stocks. Lockheed Martin up last night, has given it back and went to red. Oil up last night, has given it back and went to actually trying to come back green here. So we're bouncing a little bit on oil here now. The 6 war stocks we've given you there before, so you've got to know them. We talk about them relentlessly in the STN room. Lockheed Martin, NOC, RTX, AVAV, which reports earnings next week. I gotta go look. LHX, NOC, General Dynamics. Which one am I missing? LMT, General Dynamics, NOC, LHX, RTX, and AVAV. Did I get all 6? I think that's 6. Those are your 6 war stocks. Lockheed Martin's pure play, NOC as well. Those are more pure plays, but I mean AVAV with the war, drones, and stuff. So those are moving on the headlines. So if you're trading the headlines, which we are over in the STN room, those are your war stocks. And then obviously oil.
Interesting. I just want to read this thing here from Gabe Fabe. He says he can't find the Reuters article about the Iranian official. He can only find posts on X who say there's an article. So, I mean, who knows what to believe in this? You want to work
Let me
on that?
elaborate. Yeah, let me elaborate here. Something to remember when we're seeing these headlines is that these major publications, Bloomberg, Reuters, they have platforms where they issue this stuff first. It takes time for them to type out the articles, just like when, I was helping on the Benzinga news desk, we would put out a headline, we would get a reporter on it, and then they would write an article and get back to us in like 5, 10, 15 minutes. So I like how Gabe is thinking about this. I'm sure that there was a headline on Reuters and they're working on the article right now, but I will get back to you when I do see something that everybody can look at, like everybody, like the public. Good insight though, Gabe. Thanks for that.
Okay, I've officially blocked Plasma this morning because he just distracts me. And so I had Martin blocked before. Martin I've unblocked because Martin became nice. Plasma's never nice. It's not worth my time anymore, Plasma. So sorry, you're officially blocked. I'll never see your messages again. Next.
Good
That's
job,
what you got to do eventually. I very rarely block.
We don't need you distracted.
He's out here every morning just to try to upset me. I make a good call. He tells me how stupid I am. So, there's no place for that. Done with your Plasma. Enjoy your life. Next.
Okay. All right. Quad Witch is just kind of swept under the table here, Dennis. So we're going to have to, that one thing important Dennis always says is that the imbalances can flip. So you can play them. You will not be as likely to do the anticipatory trade. You will just be waiting to see how they come out.
They're out right now. So
yeah.
We have big early imbalances here right now. Now it is Quad Witch, so it's very early. 8 a.m. New York Stock Exchange opening imbalance is published. NASDAQ does not publish them until 9:25. So we don't get those for a long time. But in New York, I can tell you right now, they're big to the buy side. Now that can change. Things can change quickly. But right now, 1.6 million to buy in AT&T, 1.1 million to buy in Verizon, 1.4 million to buy in BAC, Exxon Mobil, Chevron, big buying balances, big buying balance across the board. But it's so early yet, that's likely to change. So don't, trade on that stuff yet.
Okay, let me go to the banner here before I say anything else, and let me post this. Okay.
Oh
No,
no.
no, I don't
What
want
is Joel
this.
gonna
I want
say?
to post this. The content contained in this presentation is for informational purposes and only may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own. Okay. If
Okay.
you're long, if you have some longs,
When he has to read the disclaimer before he says something, he's saying something controversial here. So I'm excited. I'm going to sit back, get my glass of water because I don't drink coffee, and just listen here for a minute.
I tried to get him to drink coffee. If I had if I had some major longs, I'm not talking about long-term portfolio stuff. And maybe this is my perspective of seeing the dip last night, the overall market environment. You had some stuff on from day trades or swing trades or some options, and you just get an exaggerated up open here. I think it's going to be a hell of a price. Not in every stock across the board, but just keep an eye on your pre-market highs. And today, keep a high on your opening print. There isn't one stock that's up right now with a huge buying balance that I would buy. And that's just my feeling from the quad witches. Shorting's a whole different story. We all know you could just get absolutely run over shorting in this market. But being up 8 handles, and this is my warped perspective of watching the S&Ps trade last night, if there's a big selling balance in something, well, yeah, maybe you can try and buy it. I mean, that's a different thing. It's just these expirations can be tricky. We'll see how the imbalances flip, but I put it in the STN room last night. I'm like, wow, we could rally all night and then have huge buying balances. And DV said that would make my month. So we'll see how that plays out. Dennis will keep an eye on the imbalances, and then we'll take it as it comes. Dennis, you want to throw anything on top of that?
No, I think I'm a fader. So normally the way I play imbalances is you get the big ones, to buy. I'm selling them short. You get the big ones to sell. I'm buying them. And as we get closer, obviously, in the Stock Trader Network room, we will be trading these live with you guys. And that'll be, more of a 9:15 trade. So right now they chop around, but as we get closer, we'll be positioning to see if we can take advantage of some of these imbalances. So, but let's continue on the news here, because it wasn't all war news. There was also a couple rumors of a merger and then a sale. The Lakers sell for $10 billion.
Wow.
Woo! Yes. Big number. Is that right? $10 billion?
It's an important sports team.
Go ahead, Brett. You want to give the details on that?
No.
That puts the valuation.
This was Dennis, from
Wednesday. That puts the valuation of the Lakers at $10 billion. Yes. Because the guy that owns the Dodgers and a bunch of other things paid $6.6 billion for 66% of it. So the Buss family still has a small stake, but that puts the valuation of the Lakers at $10 billion. The guy paid 67. Dr. Jerry Buss, if you guys don't know who, paid $67 million for the Lakers, plus the Forum, plus the Kings, a bunch of real estate involved in 1979. So that's 140 to 1 return on the money, plus all the money that he made in the interim. So holy mackerel. But you guys were following this during.
We covered this Wednesday night in the STN room, and we talked about the trade being Madison Square Garden Sports. Why? Because they own the Knicks. Why? Because the market cap on this company is $4.58 billion only. So if the Lakers are worth $10 billion, and the MSGS owns the Knicks and the Rangers,
yep.
I mean, $4.58 billion sounds a little bit light. So that's why you're seeing MSGS, which was the trade Wednesday night and maybe continues to be the trade this morning, up 7.26%. It's light. I wouldn't want to be short it. Also, if you're thinking sports franchises are just worth more today, you could go the Atlanta Braves or Public, BATRA. Now, BATRA, we can give you a value on that too. Now, basketball is not baseball, but the Braves are worth $3 billion. It says only here, BATRA. So I don't know. I mean, if sports franchises are worth this much more now, Lakers are valuing higher. The direct comparable is the Knicks. And some people thought the Knicks could be worth more. So MSGS seems pretty darn cheap when you're looking at it at that valuation, and that's why it's getting bid up this morning. Does it continue? I don't know, but I wouldn't want to short it because I think, maybe there's going to be some revaluation going on here after this Lakers sale. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, and guess who owns a decent sized stake in BA? Is it BATRA?
BATRA.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Guess who has a stake in that?
The guy who's
Warren.
retiring.
Warren.
The guy who's retiring, yes.
The guy who's
Uncle Warren.
Yep.
He has about 9 million share stake as of the last 13F filing. 9 million share stake. I mean, that's a $500 million stake. That ain't chump change, that's for sure.
It ain't chump change. And, does this get a bid? It's bid up a little bit here this morning, BATRA. So, I mean, the Boston Red Sox, John Boston, hey, Boston Red Sox, John Boston talking to them. He's saying they were worth $3.5 billion. I mean, a lot of these franchises private, so you're trying to figure out what they're worth. It's estimations. But when you have publicly traded ones, we can clearly say that the market is valuing the Knicks at a hell of a lot less than the Lakers right now. So if you think that's correct, that's correct. But if not, maybe MSGS is undervalued here.
Do you guys like the actress Kate Hudson?
Awesome actor.
Sure.
What's the story here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why?
So there's in the first season, there's a TV show on Netflix, and it's called Running Point, and she takes over the basketball team. It's totally modeled after the Lakers, and her brother goes to jail or goes to rehab for drugs and everything. And it's about an NBA pro, NBA. It's not the NBA. Everything's fictitious, but the show is absolutely hilarious. It's on Netflix. It's called Running Point, and it's funny. It's really a good show. So you guys should check that out. Someone mentioned Man U. And wasn't that thing supposed to get taken over a while ago?
Forever they've talked about it. Manchester United.
Yeah.
It's $2.92 billion. Like, a lot of people think Man U is one of the most valuable franchises in the world. Manchester United. Obviously, soccer's a pretty big thing.
It's the biggest. It's the biggest sport in the world.
So when you look at this, Lakers going, off now at $10 billion valuation. You think Manchester United $2.9 billion? I don't know. I think you put some of these things in your back pocket here. Maybe there really is some value here in some of these sports franchises that are publicly traded and undervalued. So you can get the Knicks through MSGS, you get the Atlanta Braves through BATRA, and you can just go flat out buy Manchester United, MANU. It's $2.9 billion only. So you know what, man? I see value there.
Look at what we're doing here, folks. We're going over news items. We're kind of kicking around some ideas. Dennis is getting a little interested. All we're doing is just staying up to date, staying relevant here, and we're getting some kind of interesting little trade ideas.
They don't like the sports talk though, so we better move away from it pretty soon.
This was oh man, this was I don't know, man.
Sports and stocks don't mix. Don't tell stocks and jocks that though. But that's what our chat tells us. There's a few people that like sports. I like sports. I like talking sports.
Well, this is sports talk related. Anymore, this is different.
The valuations here, and I know this is a joke. It was a joke. But the valuations here are very undervalued compared to what the Lakers are just going off the board for. Or at least, they didn't sell it all, I guess, but selling, the big chunk of the company. I mean, what are your thoughts here, Joel? Throw the charts in the garbage. Manchester United is $2.9 billion. The Lakers are $10 billion. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. I would think Manchester United should be worth more than the Lakers. Wouldn't you? Now
Yeah,
remember,
soccer here is Dennis, didn't you play soccer as a kid?
yeah, I did. I played 4 years of organized soccer, and in 4 years of organized soccer, I never scored a goal. 0 goals in 4 years. That's my
You
claim
don't.
to fame, Joel. They tried me everywhere. They tried me at forward. They tried me on defense. They tried me on goalie. And then the coach just told me at the end, your job is just to kick the ball up to the good kids. That's what we did 40 years ago.
Hey,
they want to win.
we
I'm like, okay,
we
no
need
problem.
people.
I turned out okay. I turned out okay.
Did you get a medal? A
No, we never won
participation?
anything. You didn't have participation medals in 1985. There wasn't like everybody has to win. No, it wasn't back then. I never won. Our team never won nothing. Probably because I was on it. I was a
All
crappy
right,
soccer player.
let's get the fishing pole out and reel things back in here. And circle. I mean,
There, I want to stop before. So Lee Oscar may be making a good point. I'm just looking at valuation. It says a lot of those shares are private. So maybe we're doing this wrong. So I'm looking at a $3 billion market cap. But if a lot of those shares are private, maybe we're not seeing all those shares. So I think we got to do more homework on this one. So just make sure, because
thank you, Lee.
10 seconds of homework here. I wasn't thinking about Manchester United. So I think, maybe do that homework, come back with that Monday. Just to make sure, because that's a great point he's making here, that maybe some of those shares are private, and then we're not seeing the entire valuation here. Because the way they do market cap is just the public shares, obviously, times the price. Well, if most of them are private, then the valuation's a hell of a lot higher than $2.9 billion. So great point, Lee. And that's
I think Lee's new. Lee, welcome to.
That's a great point, man.
Yeah, great content,
Okay,
Lee.
I'm with you. Let's find out. And does that apply to MSGS too, or a lot of the shares of MSGS private? Because I'm just doing some valuation and thinking it's undervalued. But if a lot of those shares are private, I mean, we're just digging deeper here, and it's always hard to do this research all live. But MSGS private shares, if a lot of those are private, then I don't know. I'm not seeing.
Dennis,
I just did a quick search. I don't see it, so I'm
Dennis,
not sure.
I'll send you. Dennis, I'll send you a little reminder this weekend.
MSGS. Okay, we're gonna do.
I'll send you a little reminder on Sunday. Cool.
Okay, sounds good. MSGS though up 7% here this morning, so I do think that's a little bit light. Next, mergers. Let's go to GMS because everybody and their grandma wants to buy GMS apparently. So we get on Wednesday night when I was still sitting at my desk, but nobody else was. QXO.
Oh, it's okay for you to work on Wednesday night, but people
Wednesday
can't
was
work
still
on
a work
Thursday.
day.
Okay, go ahead.
So QXO comes out, releases a press release, official press release that they are, or GMS, I'm sorry, it was GMS. No, sorry, Wednesday. Yeah, this was Wednesday. QXO proposes to acquire GMS for $95.20 per share in cash. Somebody bought up to $130 on that, which is just pure stupidity, but it was an odd lot. It wasn't like a lot of size trade up there. But then it traded back down. It was traded 94 to 95 because it looks like, okay, it's going to get acquired by QXO for $95.20. Well, not so fast because we got the love triangle happening here. And if we go to the love triangle, we've got Home Depot now getting involved here. And they're like, no.
Home Depot?
QXO coming in here. We're going to come in and buy GMS. So Wall Street Journal is reporting that, and I'll just go, people familiar with the matter. Exact price time. So people familiar with the matter is that Home Depot is making an offer for building products distributed GMS, Wall Street Journal is reporting. Exact timing, price could not be determined, but we know QXO has bid $95.20, and it looks like Home Depot may actually trump that bid. So that is why GMS is trading up at $104.50 right now, because Home Depot has come to the party here as well. So we got a bidding war apparently happening here for GMS.
Okay, I am totally in the dark on these stocks. What?
Don't trade those.
I've never even heard. I can't even type the symbol in them.
GMS. So GMS is
okay. It's a distributor of specialty building products. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
yeah, so it makes sense for both of these companies to be interested here. Both of them looks like a bidding war going off. Like, I mean, it's hard to buy on these bidding wars here. But we've had a big pop here, and we need to cover it. It's Home Depot. Home Depot's been in the gutter, man. Like, you should just talk technicals on this one, because this can't get it. It's not getting any life whatsoever. I don't know if it's concerns about tariffs, where obviously they bring a lot of lumber in, they do import materials. If there's concerns there, if it's concerned about the consumer slowing down in the second half, but Home Depot's not far from its April lows. A lot of other stocks have rallied substantially. Home Depot has not.
Boy, oh boy, on the monthly here, the bottom right chart. I mean, you want to talk about a head and shoulders top here. Holy mackerel. Look at the left shoulder building, the head, and then the right shoulder. So the monthlies are not looking good, trading down. So they probably get a lot of stuff from this company. So they figure, maybe lower their cost of goods. I mean, this thing is on a major losing streak, and now they're talking about buying somebody. Down $1.18. Next daily low comes in at 341.80. That's all you really have to lean on here. And then 340 to 341. If you're taking a poke here, that's your risk. And then just the relative performance of this is just horrible. I mean, April low was 326, and you're at 346. Uh, no interest here. No interest at all. I don't know about shorting it, but in who's going to get what, buy the steel, very complicated here. So,
Oh, yeah.
very
We don't know
complicated.
how this is going to end up, but we do know two companies are interested in it. But speaking of stocks that aren't performing well, did you see the moves MasterCard Visa on Wednesday
Oh
there,
my
Joel?
gosh, Dennis.
Did
Oh
you see
my
that?
Lord.
We said it on this show,
You
said it in the SPN room, that I think they're missing it. I think the market's missing the stablecoin stuff. And then all of a sudden, they decide to catch on to it that, oh my goodness, was Circle rallying so much on good news for stablecoins? Who's stablecoins not good for? MasterCard and Visa, because we got Walmart and Amazon talking about launching their own stablecoins to compete with them. So the market finally started to catch on to this. MasterCard and Visa had their worst days of the year. So down both 5% respectively. If you look at those charts straight down here.
oh
We also had other news, that was selling a maybe contributing factor here as well. But Coinbase announced news on Wednesday there too, which you broke in the STN room, Brentster. What was that news? Do you remember? I know
Yeah,
Wednesday's a
that
long time ago.
news. Yeah. No, it's okay. That news was that they are going to be introducing Coinbase payments, and looking at the chart, Visa and MasterCard kind of like drifted lower on the thought that we shared early on Wednesday. When Coinbase issued this news, PayPal and XYZ Block moved like right away. They responded right away.
XYZ Block did not like that news.
Nope.
PayPal, sorry, and PayPal as well. So yeah, PayPal and Block. PayPal really sold off on that news. So Coinbase rips higher, is full on like bull mode here. It goes up $50 on that headline. And then it's up another 10 here this morning. I mean, these moves here are incredible. And then you got Circle, which is just, relentless. And I mean full on, like, just kill all the shorts now, relentless, if you can get short. The one thing is, I don't know if anybody can get. I think I do have borrows on it, because I think I tried to short it there. Let me go look. What's a borrow on Circle? How much? We're going to find out. Let's go to our trusty interactive brokers platform here and see. CRCL1. Do we have locates? We do. I think we do. I got to be careful.
Well, this is how themes play out on Wall Street, though. Like, we
I
get
don't.
these.
I don't have
No?
borrows. No.
We
So
get
this
these.
is what
We get
happens.
these. Well, go ahead, Dennis.
No, but you can see when you lose low. So I did at one time have borrows on Circle, because I know I shorted a few days ago, which obviously probably didn't work out. I don't have any locates on this now. So just cannot even get located. Like, completely rejected it, actually. I got a rejection message that said contract is not available for short sale. So I don't know if people have been run over on this shorting this, but they're not even letting you short it now. So they're not even looking. They're not even looking for a borrow. So I don't know what's up with that. I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm not remembering right, but I'm pretty sure I did get a short on this 3 or 4 days ago as a day trade. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Is anybody else verify? Has anybody out there been able to short CRCL or get borrows on it? because Interactive Brokers is flat out rejecting the order. I'd never see that. They're flat out. It says the contract is not available for short sale.
Wowza.
When you don't allow shorts to come in the market, this can happen because shorts keep prices in check. You don't have any prices in check, they can just explode. So yeah, Aura says can't locate. Mr.
Can't
Mister says he's
locate.
been able to. I'm pretty sure 3 days ago in IB, Mr. Mister, I'm pretty sure I was able to get a locate on Circle. Now it's flat out not allowing me. So I don't know if that just means because people have been run over with and they don't want people shorting it or what it is. But yeah, okay. Vlad's the same thing. I could short VOTOS last week. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I shorted it 3 days ago too. Now it's not letting me. Can Vlad, you try? Is it just me because I'm Canadian? They're being racist against Canadians here? Just a joke. But can you, Vlad, can you get a locate on Circle and IB right now? We're talking, oh, he was on TOS. Sorry, he was on TWS.
Can I ask a question?
Wow.
Yeah, what's up, Joel?
And so the quick research I did, Capital One is immune to this. They're because
okay, do more research before you come with your thought, because I don't know if this.
Well, I'm going to ask you, why is it Capital One getting hit? Is it that a payment?
Well, they do things in different ways. I mean, all these. So American Express and Capital
What about
One
American Express?
So it's a good lesson. American Express and Capital One are structured completely different than MasterCard and Visa. MasterCard and Visa are just payment processors. That's what they are. That's all they do. They just take 2-3% of every freaking transaction. American Express is structured completely different. Like different businesses, Capital One, different businesses. They lend money. They do all kinds of different things. MasterCard and Visa, you think they lend you money, but they factor out all that risk there too. So they do different things. They're basically just payment processors. So that's, they're just different businesses, Joel. So I think that's why they're more like financial companies where you've got pure processing, MasterCard and Visa without that 2% processing fee or 1% depending on the retailer and and how much the transaction is, without that 1 to 2% processing fees are like really in trouble. This is their cash flows. Like this is like what they are. So that's why these stocks are getting hit so much harder, because it's very obviously huge for their bottom line and their top line. So if that comes under attack, and I really think about it, I mean, let's just think MasterCard and Visa have had, been two of the best stocks in the last 15 years. They've just gone relentlessly higher. But the valuations on these things are absurd at this point in time. So we did this on Wednesday in the ST. Remember, we can do it here too. So this was, part of our research when we were like making the call to short MasterCard and Visa. MasterCard's trading 37 times current earnings, 34 times forward earnings. That's after the fall. It was like 36 times before the fall on Wednesday. Visa's trading 34 times current earnings, 26 times. So those numbers have come down because the stocks just fell 5%. But I mean, if that revenue stream is under attack, holy mackerel, man, there could be a lot of, one, multiple contraction, but two, maybe the top line goes down, the bottom line goes down. American Express is 19 times earnings only. They're more like financial companies here. And Capital One, same thing, is only trading 12 times earnings, Joel. So just to give you perspective of the premium that they have laid out in MasterCard and Visa, because they trade like staples almost, where they just, they know these cash flows are there. People use their MasterCard and Visa on everything. They just take, 1 to 2 to 3% of every transaction that goes through on them. So just different business models there. So, and that's why with this, stable coins coming out, if that business model gets attacked, holy mackerel, man, these stocks could go a lot lower. So I would not be buying the dip on MasterCard and Visa. As much as I was bearish on Wednesday, I remain bearish here on Friday on MasterCard and Visa.
Okay, 8:34.
The chat says some brokers have Circle to short, some don't. I have no idea why IB doesn't, but they're not allowing it now. They weren't before, so for some reason they're not allowing it. Maybe it's too early in the morning. I don't know.
Okay, Brentster, why don't we roll that intro for our guest?
What's up, guys?
He is, but Perma Smile, Tony Pawlak, CEO
Always, man.
of Real Life Trading. Tony, how you doing on this Quad Witch Friday?
I'm ready to party. I'm ready just to sit back and see the markets mess with people. That's what I'm ready to do today because that's
Ooh,
what's going to happen.
is that what's going to happen? Well,
That's what's
okay.
going to
So
happen. Yeah.
how do you profit from the market messing with people? Do you just take the opposite trades? What's your thought process? Well, how are they going to mess with us? How are they going to mess with us?
Oh man. Well, it's you got to look at option levels today. So those option levels are going to be key. The big stacks of open interest out there in the markets. That's what I've been looking at here on mainly SPY and Qs, right? Stick with those things. But if you point out some big levels here and start looking at them, like 590 on SPY today, that's a big level to watch if that does come into play, right? If we start to drop. And then another one I'm looking at here is around that like 605 level today for the upside. So both of those, pick out the big levels and then watch price action around it. Everything else inside is going to be tricky and confusing a little bit, but you can get a little bit of sentiment off of those edges on those big option open interests on a day like today. So they're going to mess with people. It's normally how it goes. You get, as soon as it looks bullish, it goes bearish. When it looks super bearish, it goes bullish. So the people chasing these and the people like thinking, oh my gosh, this thing's going to run. It could, but it could also get ready to just flip and go bearish as soon as everyone starts to see the bulls behind it. So there's just going to be a lot of hedging going on. There's going to be a lot of interactions and options, and it's going to be wild. So that's what I do on a days like this. I sit back and I wait for those big levels to get interacted with, and then I see what it does from there. If we go screaming bullish through my top level, I think the bulls really have something, then I'll start planning, around that. But in the meantime, today's a day to just go find another hobby, probably, because it's going to be a little bit tough to day trade in a market like today for this options expiration.
I love day trading in this market because you get all these huge moves and inefficiencies all over the place there. So spikes, you just don't want to get caught on the wrong side of it. That's the only thing, Tony. So big moves are awesome for traders unless you're on the wrong side of those big moves. And then it's not that much fun. Volatility is a trader's friend. There's so many people that are like, oh, the VIX is so high right now, I'm not going to trade. I will tell you, from my experience, my P&L is definitely positively correlated with the VIX. As the VIX goes up, I make more money. As the VIX goes down, I don't make as much money because bigger moves, more money. Now, how do you trade safely in that environment might be the better call here, Tony. Like, how do you do options to safely trade in an environment where volatility could suddenly spike?
Yeah. The key is in any trading, you've got to be able to diagnose these markets. If you are applying the strategy at the wrong time, it doesn't matter how good of a strategy it is, you are going to struggle. So volatility is your friend unless you don't see momentum and trend very clearly. If you don't know how to recognize those two things, you're going to be in serious trouble. So that is going to be the number one thing I can get you. Learn price action. Price action is going to show you what's about to happen. Probability statistically, right? It's like, I'm seeing this. I'm seeing the bulls coming in. I'm seeing the bulls gaining strength. I'm going to go on the bull side and I'm going to take the coin and I'm going to flip it. I got a 50-50-ish shot. It's going to be a little bit higher with that probability now with price action. And if I'm wrong, I lose small. If I'm right, I win big. Like, that's my only job. So that's going to be the key. Focus on price action, because if you're diagnosing these markets wrong, it doesn't matter what strategy you have or anything like that. You're never going to make any money. So on crazy volatile days like this, you got to be able to see that momentum, ride that momentum, and then see when the momentum is leaving so you can get out and lock in profits before it goes against you and you turn a winner into a loser.
Tony, do you want to show your charts or you want us to continue to show the charts? We can go either way.
I'll show my charts. Yeah, we could whatever you guys want to do, I'll show.
We like when our guests show the screen. So if you don't mind showing your screen, that'd be good. And we have multiple uses want to talk oil. And I agree. I think we need to talk, we can talk USO if you want, or you can talk oil futures, whatever you like. But we could go to USO here because we've had this huge spike here. I mean, the market's been running obviously on this. Oil market's been running obviously on the escalations in the Middle East. I'm going to bring up your screen here right now. There it is. I mean, how do you trade this technically? I mean, this is so headline driven here right now, but it's a parabolic move, really. Like, we haven't had a move like this in a long time. I mean, we're up like 15% in 7 trading sessions. That's a big move. What are your thoughts? sell the
this
opportunity. What are your thoughts?
man, this is a really big area of being able to read sentiment, like we just talked about, right? People think that you get strength from big moves. It's like, okay, the big move happened, but the real strength comes from reading the areas where the bulls previously failed. What we do here in this area is going to tell us how strong the bulls actually are. So that's why I love seeing retests back up into these key levels. So if you get a big move up, people are like, that's strong. I'm like, yes, but let's see how strong. Because whenever it pulls back and then retests this area, like I think we talked about this a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's where you can really read some strength. And so that's exactly where we're at right now. I'm going to say, let's see how this closes. That's going to be my answer. So if we can close strong, especially this week or next week, up above this like 85 mark, we've got something. And we really could be having some bull runs. That opens the doors to dips being bought. Gives me a 70 to 75% chance that we are going to continue higher if we get a strong close through this key area. If it continues to reject or it continues to throw an upper wicks, that's telling me dips are probably going to start to come in, but I don't think I don't have the evidence to tell me to buy this dip because what the bulls did up here where they should have been strong. So for me, it's either break out of this level and let it run. Everyone else is going to get FOMO on this and go, man, I'm missing out on this. I need to buy it. For me, I see this as strength. And then I just start planning my entries for the dips to see if it can go higher from there. That's a much safer trade to get in. When everyone else that chased is losing, but you have that sentiment, that's normally a safe trade because that's usually when the big moves can come when the markets are not paying out everybody. So that's what I'm seeing on USO. It's a great move. It's a strong move, but it's not proven to me just yet. So I'm going to be a little bit patient on it. And then if it shows its hand, I'll be all over it for sure.
Let's talk some tech stocks here. Maybe just give us a breakdown on the Qs because we want to, obviously we've had a huge run here since the bottom in April here. We've come up to major point of resistance here as well, which is the old all-time highs. Are we clear sailing through here? Is this going to struggle? Talk to me technicals on the Qs.
Yeah, this is like we just talked about. This is at a huge testing point. For the past 2 weeks, we failed. We're going to need to see some strong bull moves, which I still think is possible. We're going to need to see some strong bull moves up above the all-time highs on a weekly time frame, not a daily, on a weekly. We need strong closures through. If that happens, dips are going to, we're going to keep cranking to who knows how high. But I could also see it come back down after making such a strong move up. It's not going to be too much of a shock for this to give a little bit of a rest and then bounce back up. So really the levels I'm watching right now is around 510 to 505. This should be a pretty decent buying area as long as we don't make an all-time high. If we make an all-time high, then drop, that's everyone taking profits. And that kind of takes the joy out of me buying this dip because again, that's us hitting this big resistance level, important level, and failing at it. If we fail to even really test it, which we're not quite there yet, and it drops, I still feel like people's targets are there, and that opens the dip here potentially. News can change things, but I'm looking for either we run up and make that all-time high and I start taking profits on this, or it makes its way back into 500 to 510 and I start looking at potentially buying the dip to take me to all-time highs. Then I need to see my strong close. No matter what, whenever it finally does visit the all-time high, which is like 540? Ish.
Yep.
It needs to close strong through there on a weekly time frame. So that's what I'm watching for. At this point, with it being so extended, I kind of would prefer a little bit of a retest before we come, dip our toes into that water. So that's what I'd be waiting for.
Kind of your go-to is still buying dips, though. So you see the breakout, it breaks out, but I'm waiting for a dip to get into this breakout. I don't want to just chase, like not blindly chasing. It's kind of like, I think Jeremy Newsom has taught you a few things too, because you sound like Jeremy Newsom when you're giving this technical analysis here as well.
Yeah.
But buying dips on strong stocks.
Yes. Buying dips on strong stocks. This thing reminds me a little bit of like 2020, right? It just rampaged through. This is where our bear should have been, and we gapped right through it. Closed strong. It is very strong, and we could actually be looking at a monster inverted head and shoulder if it does kind of put in this right shoulder, and that would send us to like
the
800. It'd be crazy. It'd be crazy.
So
The bulls don't have to end yet, but the one thing that they did back in 2020 was they broke this high and they rampaged through. And we need to see that repeat again here in this area. It can keep on partying, so don't think that we have to drop. But I just feel strongly about this area around 500 to 510. I love it. I feel like this trading is going to be hard all through here. This makes trading easy. If you can identify these easy sentiment levels, this is where bulls should be when it gets there. If the bulls start coming in, if you start seeing, hammers on a daily, if you start seeing hammers on an hourly, engulfing candles, the simple basic stuff, if you start seeing that in a bull sentiment area, buy it. That's easy trades. If you can just be patient enough for it. And that's the problem. People won't wait 2 weeks for the easy. They want to make money right now because there's an opportunity to make money right now. And they end up just losing a whole bunch of money. And then when the real opportunity comes 2 weeks later, they're already in the hole thousands of dollars and trying to just make their money back instead of just understanding when trading is a little bit difficult. There's not a clear sentiment read right now, right? The bulls are exhausted. We've seen that over the last few weeks, but they're still strong.
Yeah.
So now we're getting this question mark, and that's where traders really get stuck instead of just sitting back and waiting. Are there opportunities to make money? Yes, every day, every second. But do you have the skills to be able to see those opportunities and know when to get in and out? That's really the question you should be asking yourself, because if not, you'll burn cash.
Tony, ticker time. They like to do ticker time with Tony. And we've had multiple people asking the same ticker. Steady Eddie from the STN room. Also, Andrew in the pre-market prep chat room wants to know about SMCI. And yes, I kind of want to know about SMCI too, because I've been watching this one. It's been in consolidation station here for about a month. This, it kind of looks perky to me. And when it looks perky, meaning it kind of is perking up a little bit here. Yeah. Thoughts on SMCI? Kind of biased it maybe.
Yeah. So it had a run up like crazy. All right, I'm on a monthly chart. We're going big now. It had a big run up on this guy. And then really your bulls should have been up here. And they failed. So if this was legit, bulls would have been here. And you can see for quite a few months, they actually bought that up and then it failed. That now is going to be the huge sentiment level to look at on a big picture. We've already gone there once and failed. So again, this line in the sand around 70 is a pretty big deal. So now if we start zooming in on a smaller time frame, so smaller, weekly, we're just going to work it. We're going to go big to small. Sure. So now on a weekly time frame, we know where the bulls are building their line in the sand. So 28, and we know where the bears are building their line in the sand, 70. So now it's a matter of what do we do around these areas like we just talked about? Well, at this area, we're putting in strong sentiment candles. And this to me looks like it's ready for just a little bit of an S curve to go higher. So the next test for this is going to be $47. If we can get those strong daily closures through 47, that opens the door for dips. And we're going to be testing that 70 level again. So it's looking very strong. Bulls are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. We're getting bought up short term. So short term, I would expect $40 to hold. We start getting below $40 short term, we could be retesting levels that we've already claimed, which is not a good sign. So this level, in my opinion, has been established, $40. Bulls should be making new highs. So that's, sorry guys, I'm not sure where all those things are coming from. That's where we need to be watching. So it looks very bullish. I'd be leaning bullish on this, but it's going to have to pass test for me.
47 is the first test.
Yep. 47 is the first test. If it can close strong through, dips are still buyable, and we know where our target's going to be. Again, the issue now is people don't see this. They see it rampaging up, and they're like, I'm going to hold this for 200. And they don't realize this is a big sentiment level. I mean, look how perfect if you understood this sentiment level. And how do you know this sentiment level? Because this is where the bulls should have been before, and they failed. So if you're getting this big run up, how do you know when to get out before it just tanks? You've got to understand the past. You got to understand what to look at on this chart to tell you where are your testing levels at. That's it. And that's still it. So if this thing goes berserk, it doesn't mean that we have to exit here now because we've already been there once. Here for sure. This hadn't been tested yet. Very high chance we're dropping. Now it's the question mark. What do we do here? It's still a chance it just drops. But if it can close strong through 70, now you've really got something. So how you want to play that, but hopefully those tips kind of help you guys out a little bit on analyzing it.
This segment is brought to you by Etch-a-Sketch and Crayola. All right,
Like
Tony.
trans.
Crayola, also a big sponsor of the show. Okay.
Yeah.
We got an easy one for you. Really easy stock to trade. Doesn't really move around much. Reddit.
Reddit? Is that RDDT?
Yeah.
RDDT.
Okay. All right. So Reddit, same story. I'm going to go back and build in a sentiment level real quick. Where should the bulls have held before? Right here. So I'm looking at 160. That's my line in the sand, and that's probably where this is going to come and visit. I think 160 is going to be the spot, and it could be dollars off, right? It's more of a zone, but around 160, I believe we're going to, that's where people are taking profits because that was a sentiment zone previously that we're going to come back and test. Could it actually close strong and go through? Yes, for sure. But I think we're pretty close. So for me, I would look at buying the dip on this around like 125. I like 125 to 130. I think if we get down there, it should be a pretty good play if it gets down there. I don't know if it'll pull back at all. But as long as we have failed to hit this sentiment zone, dips, in my opinion, are going to get bought because we passed this short-term test right here. What did we do when like this area right here is a big sentiment? We went right through it. So now dips, in my opinion, are going to get bought. So I like the 125 area, and the target on this is going to be around 160. So keep an eye out for that. There's a chance maybe we've already hit this target zone. I think we've got higher to go, though. So I doubt it. I think we keep running. Okay. It's just now risk. So be careful chasing these. Like for this is a good swing trade down here, but here this is a better day trade, kind of getting in and out because the entry's late. It doesn't mean you can't catch this bull sentiment higher, but it's time to switch to a day trade and kind of get in and out up here to manage your risk is probably the way to play it at this point.
Okay, continuing on because you're on a roll here, Tony. So we're going to go overtime with you. Alex wants to know Airbnb, ABNB. It's been a while since I've traded this one. I'll be honest. I was trading it a lot like last year. I haven't traded much this year. It's just kind of been quietly doing nothing here too. Give me your technical thoughts, ABNB.
Man, this thing has been just in a sideways consolidation now for a long time. Yes. It is pretty much back at a spot where I do believe some bulls should come back in. But here's the issue. It failed its test. Whenever a stock fails its test and comes back for the buying zone, which is the buying zone, it's usually pretty lackluster. Can work, but the probabilities now of it actually just dipping lower are there because the bulls are seeing just how strong they actually are. It's not very strong. Again, it doesn't mean that we can't go higher. Doesn't mean that it can't pass this test here in 2 months, but it also doesn't mean that we have to bounce here. It could go a lot lower now because where the bulls should have been strong, they weren't. So this is a great buying area, but this was a great buying area before we hit that test. If this would have just pulled back right here and dipped before we tested, that would make this an amazing buying spot. But since the bulls didn't pull back, we ran, and then they failed that test. This is the buying spot right now. It's just how much momentum will actually be there. I don't know. That's going to be time. Now we have to just sit back and see what the price actually does at this buying area. But it is, in my opinion, a spot to buy. Just it's not. I don't think it's going to have the rip crazy runs that everyone hopes. We'll see. Maybe.
One more. Squeezing in Disney. House of Mouse for thinking about it.
Disney,
yep. The House of Mouse.
The House of Mouse. Well,
that's what Joel's always called it.
Disney has established, man, $80. That is a spot to buy Disney. Apparently.
That's been a spot forever.
That's been that's the support of all supports. Like the Disney 80 is like if you had support in a technical analysis textbook, it would have a picture of Mickey Mouse right at $80. That is the support of all supports.
And it's
what now though?
Yeah, what now though? First off, this level can never break. If it does break,
it's not even possible.
It's not possible, but we're going to $50 in like a day if that level breaks. That would be a short and a half.
We'll be gone. If it goes to 50, then
I'm buying, but it'll be a little wild. That's not going to happen. I think there's a 1% chance in the universe that happens. So at this point, again, we're back at a testing area. We're seeing that across the board on all stocks right now. the markets are at a testing area. This is at a testing area. This is on a monthly chart. It's failed this test a lot. And that's what happens on a lot of these stocks that are just, big names, and you can get a dividend out of it and buy it and hold it. But if we can get a strong move above 125, this is going to open that door for 150. So that would be my next real area and benchmark to take a look at. But this is so extended. I'd say be very careful of false breakouts up here. I could see Disney running and getting through 130 and then falling apart because it hasn't rested. At some point, the stock is going to have to rest. So again, for me, it's like I would much rather it didn't hit this area. I wish it would have rested first. We would have had a lot more strength going into it, but that rubber band is already stretched. So it can keep stretching more. Not saying it can't, but I would need to see crazy closes, like probably pushing 140 before I'm comfortable buying this dip. Anything into 130, 135, it could snap back down pretty hard. And then we just keep playing this sideways game. So put an alert down around 80 and keep buying down there is probably the best bet on Disney for the next few years. So that's what I've got. Be careful in this zone because it could trap some people. We've seen that previously over here.
Another entertaining and informative session with Tony Pawlak, CEO of Real Life Trading. Tony, it's always great, man. And we'll see you. Wait, do we give this guy the 4th of July off, Dennis? What do we do with that? Do we give him the 4th of July off with pay?
Yeah, we'll give him a day
pay.
off on 4th of
With
July.
pay.
We'll move you a day.
We'll figure it out. I'll send you an email, Tony. Thanks a lot.
Good. Appreciate you guys. See ya.
Grinding higher. Holy
That could have been
mackerel.
the name of the show. Grinding higher. That could have been the name of the last 2 months. Grinding higher. Because we had the one violent move up, but it's really just been a grind. This has been like a steady grind higher. Climbing the wall of worry, whatever you want to call it. But grinding higher. That is the story of the day, of the last 2 months. Just climb that wall of worry forever. War? Well, he just said not for 2 weeks, so we might as well buy stocks for 2 weeks if he's not going to war for 2 weeks. We'll worry about that in 2 weeks. Man, that's coinciding nicely with the July tariff days. So we're going to get news on Iran in 2 weeks, and we're going to get news on tariffs in 2 weeks. Be at your desk in 2 weeks here, folks. It's going to be fun. There's going to be some headlines that day. But as of right now, war is not a concern. Tariffs are not a concern. FOMO is a concern. That's the market. We're up 90 handles from yesterday's low. Wowzers, Joel. What are you doing? How are you trading this?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I
Climb
don't want
the
to.
wall of worry.
Oh no. Long term, fantastic, right? It's great, But this open here is just. I think it's the most important open of the last 20 years. Because if we open up where we're at right now and we just keep ripping to the week high, the high of the rebound, there's some hurdles in here. I will just be I'll go 7,000 like by Wednesday, If we if we open up here and have a huge fade, then that's more what I'm expecting. But
so far, and we're going to give this imbalance. Look, I know we didn't get to earnings, folks. Here, KR reported, DRI reported, Accenture reported, and KMX reported. I'll do them in 10 seconds. KR is up 1.5%. DRI trading up as well, up over 5% here. People still going to their Olive Gardens apparently. Accenture is down 5% because whenever one goes down 5%, they have to go up 5%. And CarMax is ripping higher at 9.5%. So those were all moving. We know we went overtime. We'll cover those in detail in the STN room here too. And balance, look, they are all still to the buy side and they are bigly. That can change. We'll have those live in the STN room as well here in the next 30 minutes. But, right now, buys across the board. Market's looking strong. Can change. Option expiration can change quickly. But right now, a lot higher.
Okay. Just impeccable timing on my part. Our guest on Monday. Let's talk IPOs with Eric Kroll. I mean, come on. What a time. There was a time where, hey, There wasn't much going on. Huh. Exact opposite now. So we will just fasten our seatbelts, watch your opening
Seatbelt
prices,
fashion.
watch your
Fashion.
pre-market highs, and we'll be back. Everyone, have a great weekend. Fun show as always. Pre-market prep ends right now.